Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So today we are doing a should you wait or move on pick a card. I'm gonna explain more about exactly what it's gonna entail just in a second, but before we get into it, I want to give a huge thank you to Blinkist, who is sponsoring today's video. Blinkist is an app that takes thousands of the top nonfiction books and condenses them into 15-minute text and audio summaries. You can browse titles from 27 different categories like psychology, health, entrepreneurship, and personal growth. Blinkist is great for so many things. For one, it's really good if you're busy and you don't have time to read complete books, but you want to gain the key knowledge. Maybe you want to impress your friends, maybe you want to write an assignment. But also, I've found that it's really great to refresh your memory on books that you've already read. Recently, I read this book, The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. So this book is all about how our body stores trauma and how people react to trauma in different ways and how we can go about healing it. Highly, highly recommend this book. My mom was like asking me about it. She's like, how's the book going? What are you learning? And I was like, oh, you know, lots of things. Even though I was reading the book and absorbing the information, and I remembered being so impressed at how much I was learning, it was really hard for me to recall specific things. We opened up Blinkist and we actually found it. Oh my God, the glare. Here she is. We listened to it together, and the book was broken up into blinks. They are called blinks. Basically, they are like slides or short chapters. First of all, the summary was very good. Like, they summed up the book really, really well. They had all of the key points in there, and it was like jogging my memory about what I had just read, which was super awesome. And then I would like pause the blink and be like, oh yeah, this chapter, it was about like it all came back to me. And then I was able to have a really meaningful conversation, and then she would add in tidbits of knowledge that she knows, and it was a wonderful experience. And then I was like, do they have This Is Your Brain on Music on here? And they had This Is Your Brain on Music on there. It talks about why humans like music and what's happening in our brain when we listen to music. But I read it such a long time ago, so there's a lot of stuff that is kind of hazy and that I would like to remember. I think Blinkist is also a great tool to browse for books that you potentially want to purchase and read in the future. Even just taking the screen recordings for this sponsorship, I saw things that I wanted to read. I did try listening to the blinks for a book that I have never read before, which was Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. And I think that book would be a super interesting read for me because it's all about the duality between our unconscious intuitive mind and our conscious rational mind, which is something that we talk about a lot in the spiritual community. The first 100 people who use my link, which will be down below, will get 1 week of unlimited access to Blinkist completely free. And then if you want to get the full membership after that, you will get 25% off. Thank you so much to Blinkist for sponsoring today's video. Thank you so much to you guys for listening to that. And now let's get on to the reading. So in today's reading, we are going to be answering the question, should you wait or should you move on from whatever connection it is that you are wondering about, whether that be romantic, a friendship, family, a work connection, whatever it is. What we're going to do in this reading is see what would happen if you chose to continue to wait, and what would happen if you chose to move on. And we're gonna get some advice from Spirit about how you can navigate this situation. So there are 5 options for you to choose from today. I'm gonna show you each of the crystals one by one, and then please pick whichever one or ones you feel drawn to the most, because you can of course ask about however many connections that you want. So without further ado, let's give you a close-up of the crystals. Number 1 is Angel Aura Quartz. Number 2 is Green Calcite. Number 3 is White Moonstone. Number 4 is Amethyst. And number 5 is Spirit Quartz. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number ones, so if you guys chose the Angel Aura Quartz, this is going to be a reading about whether you should wait or move on from whoever you are asking about. So I want to start off this reading by taking a look at your energy, the energy of the person you are asking about, as well as the energy of your spiritual team, so your spirit guides or even spirit themselves, to see where everybody is at when it comes to this connection. So the first part of this reading is going to be like an energy check. You can also think of this part as a way to see if this is the right pile for you, like by whether or not it resonates with your situation. And then in the second part of the reading, we are going to see what will happen if you wait, what will happen if you move on, and then we'll get some advice for you about how you can navigate this decision. So that's the way it's gonna go today. We have a few oracle cards and tarot cards. I'm gonna start with the oracles to see where everybody's energy is at. So for your energy, first off, we have ambition, and then we have life. So just talking about your general energy at first, this could be the energy that you're currently in, or we could think of this as like an energy that you're about to enter in very, very soon. But what I see from these first two cards is that you guys are ready to live your best life. Like you are ready to commit to yourself and you're ready to do whatever it takes to reach your goals and to become the version of you you really want to be. I see you guys being in an energy that is very motivated, very optimistic, very vigorous. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but like very eager to get going, very energized, very hopeful for your future. And I actually think with this message of ambition and life here that there is some big accomplishment on the horizon for you guys. Like you are about to reach some major milestone in your life. You're about to achieve something really, really big. And I think that your soul can already feel that that's on the horizon. And for that reason, your soul might be kind of kicking you. I always forget this expression and I end up saying kicking your butt, but I think it's kicking you into gear. So you're like, it's go time, let's get ready. And you will definitely live your best life. Now, how this energy pertains to the connection with this person you're asking about, I think that in some way or another, this person has been an influence to you when it comes to your motivation, when it comes to your drive to achieve your goals and to live your best life and be the best version of you that you can be. So whether that be from this person being incredibly inspirational to you, you looking up to them and wanting to be more like them, and that like fuels you to work harder, or it could even be like if something went wrong with this person, there was a conflict or a separation, and then you transmuted those feelings of frustration and disappointment into ambition. Like you took that and you said, I'm going to turn this into ambition. I'm going to feed all of this energy back to myself. And maybe even some of you like wanted to kind of stick it to this person a little bit or prove this person wrong a little bit. It could definitely be an energy like that, depending on where you're at in your connection with this person. But there's something about them and their presence in your life that I feel is really kicking you into gear and that is really helping you move towards your goals. This could also be showing a sense of determination when it comes to the connection itself. Like if I think of the word ambition, it's like you got your eyes set on something and you won't give up so easily. So maybe many of you guys feel very, very determined when it comes to making it work with this person. Maybe you feel like you'll put in efforts or you have put in a lot of efforts. And with life here, this could be somebody that you guys see as a potential life partner, like somebody who is around for life, somebody who is very, very significant in your life. But I feel like you guys, somehow it's like your energy is very revved up right now and you're about to do amazing things. So this is how I see you guys. We'll take the next couple cards now to look at the energy of the other person. So we have worship and we have Gemini with the message of unite. So Gemini energy could be significant in this connection, whether that be one of your placements or one of their placements, or Gemini season could be significant, late May to late June. Maybe that was when you met this person or when something significant will happen for you guys. If not, that's totally fine, but this Gemini could be here for confirmation for some people. Let's talk about this worship card. This is kind of interesting. I'm going to interpret this as this person thinking of you very, very highly. Obviously, when we worship somebody, maybe it's a bit of a strong word, but I think what it's trying to get at here is that this person respects you a lot. They see you in a very, very high regard. They think that you deserve the best in this world. This best life that you guys are chasing after, these goals that you're reaching, this person definitely really admires you for that, and they think that you are so worthy of all of the amazing things that are coming to you. There's a message of like, as soon as this person met you, they just knew that you were going to do amazing things, even if you didn't know that or if you didn't believe that. They were like, oh my gosh, this person is amazing. Like, I just know that they're going to kill it in this life. I just know that they're going to get all the blessings, they're gonna hit all the goals. Yeah, this is somebody who looks up to you a lot. I'm not gonna take it as strongly as the word worship, but just know that they have a ton of respect and admiration for you. And with this Gemini energy, with Gemini being, the sign of the twins, this person might feel that you guys have a lot in common. They might see a lot of themselves in you or vice versa. And at the beginning of the reading, I was talking about this person being an influence for you to really achieve your goals. And I think that that's actually the case for them as well. Like, you have also really, really inspired this person to be their best self and to achieve their goals. And with these people, it looks like they're walking together, holding hands. If you guys go on to achieve your own goals separately, they will still be very, very happy for you. But I think that there's a big part of them that wishes you'll be able to do this together. Like, you will be able to be side by side, cheering each other on as you go, celebrating each other's wins as you go, maybe even achieve some big things together as a pair. Like, if we can do this together, that will be like my greatest joy. That's kind of how they're seeing it. I'm taking this image very literally of like, this person wants to be beside you. This person wants to be together with you. They want to be close to you. We even have the word unite here, which really is making me think of a desire for union. So these two cards together, worship, seeing you really highly, unite, wanting to be close with you. It's clear that this person only has positive things to say about you, only has fond feelings, and I would say even feelings of longing towards you, like desiring even more closeness, even more togetherness than what you have right now. And actually, another interpretation of this worship card that is coming to me is that, and I guess this comes from like worshiping a deity or worshiping spirit or something like that. Maybe this person is getting more connected to their faith, more connection to their spirituality, more connection to their religion, if they are a religious person. And from that, sort of feeling like they have more purpose, like they have more direction, like they have more clarity on themselves and on their life. Maybe they are almost like uniting with their higher self. Yes, I think they're getting more in touch with that spiritual side of them. And this may have been influenced by you as well. But I really like the energy we're seeing here so far. So where's my fifth card? Here it is. It was on my lap. So this is the card that is going to represent the energy of spirit and the energy of your spiritual team towards this connection, and see how they are feeling about it. And we have the message support and Karina, which makes me think of like something that is very dear, something that is very sweet, something that is very cute. Yeah, I think that your spiritual team is looking down on both of you in a very endearing way. Just as individuals, your spirit guides think you are adorable. Your spirit guides think this person is adorable, and their spirit guides think the same of both of you. Yes? And the way that you feel about each other, they think it is very pure, very sweet, very endearing. And with this message of support here, I want you guys to know just how much divine support you do have. Yes, when it comes to this connection, but just you in general. You are so supported. You are so loved by your divine team. And the message that's coming through is like, you're a lot less alone than you think you are. You have a lot more support than you realize. It could be that many of you actually have a larger spiritual team than you realize. Like, you might think you have one or maybe two spirit guides who are helping you, but you actually have like a dozen spirits watching over you. They also want you to know that your guides are with each other and watching over each other, because you guys feel so strongly for one another and have taken a liking to each other sounds too light, but that's just the wording that's coming to me. Because you guys have taken such a strong liking to each other, it's kind of like your guides are looking out for each other, almost like godparents or god guides. So their guides are like your godparents. If you ever need them, you just give them a call and they'll be right over there. So your guides and their guides are in frequent conversation, and they are supporting you guys on your journeys. And there's also a specific message coming in for you guys. Like, it's like sometimes you get loving messages or confirming messages of confirmation from your spirit guides, and then you're like, no, that was just me. I just made that up. And no, that was your spirit guides. It's like they're talking to you more often than you realize, and you might dismiss a lot of that, especially when it's loving messages or messages of confirmation is what they're saying. But really, at the end of the day, with this support, if you guys want to make it work with this person, if you want to come into union, I really do feel like you have full support from both teams of spirit guides. Like, they're going to support that all the way. And honestly, they'll support you no matter what. Even if you decide like you want to move on, you want to go your separate ways, they're going to support anything that you decide, because they love you and they just want you to be happy. So this is a really, really beautiful card to have in the middle here. But let's move on to the tarot part of the reading now. This is a deck that was made by my friend. I'm really excited to use it. I've actually used it before on this channel, but she's the star of the show today. So let's take the next couple cards to see what is going to happen if you guys choose to wait for this person, for this union. What's going to happen if you choose to stay? And we have the Lovers, which is Gemini energy again. It's funny that like this is the sign of the twins. We have the two people here, we have the two people here, and then you got two Gemini cards coming out. If you or this person don't have any Gemini in your chart, this could just be coming out to really emphasize how similar you are, like how much you guys really do have in common, especially from a soul perspective, or it's just coming out to show that you guys are like two peas in a pod. Or again, Gemini season might be significant. So at the time that I'm filming this, Gemini season is a little bit of a ways away, but you could be watching this at any time. Maybe it's like almost Gemini season when you're watching, but that might be a time frame that you want to keep in the back of your mind. And then we also have the Hierophant. So we have a little bit of Taurus energy as well. Taurus, Gemini could also be talking about the months of May and June. But I'm also noticing that we have two major arcana here. So the cards representing what will happen if you choose to stay are both major arcana. And so I want to be careful not to make it sound like you have to do anything, or that your spiritual team like is making you do anything. But I do feel that when it comes to this story that your souls have written, there is more. Like there is still more destiny to be revealed. Almost like holding on and staying is like the main, how can I say it? It's like the primary option. If you had like your biggest destiny and then, oh, these are some other options you can take. I feel like sticking with this connection is like your soul's first choice, or the main idea that your soul had, if that makes sense. It's like one of the main storylines of your life. I guess that I could put it that way. I feel like there's still a lot of major events to happen within this connection. And staying will bring many positive things, or waiting will bring many positive things. As for the numbers that are appearing on these cards, we have the number 6, which is about harmony, reciprocity, peace, unconditional love. And then we have the number 5, which is about change and growth and development. So really, really nice messages coming through on this side. Also, maybe it's a little bit of a reach, but I'm going to say it anyway. If we add up these numbers 6 and 5, we get the number 11, which is all about like manifestation, new beginnings. Again, there's some major milestone or major accomplishment coming to you. And I feel like this next chapter of your life is just so exciting, where all of your destinies are lining up, like your destiny in love, your destiny in your career, your destiny in your personal growth. It really feels like it's all coming together. I think that next year, well, I'm seeing the year 2022. If you're watching this in 2022, then it's this year. But the year of 2022 is going to be really, really big for you guys, where it's like you're having breakthroughs in all areas of your life and you're going through immense growth. This is really, really exciting. So we have the Lovers here, which I think is pretty straightforward. We see a couple coming together. It almost looks like they're under some kind of mistletoe or like dancing under some lights. Oh my gosh, it looks like it's out of a movie or out of a fairy tale or something. I think you're going to have a very romantic union with this person, or if this is not a romantic connection, it's like something out of a movie. It's something very touching. It's something that might bring a little bit of waterworks, or it's something that might bring a very, very big celebration. There is some union here. There is some beautiful commitment here. The Lovers, for me, it also talks about a very deep psychic connection or a telepathic connection. So if you have felt like you can't forget about this person, it's because they can't forget about you. If you feel like you're constantly thinking about them, it's because they're constantly thinking about you. And just the same way your spirit guides are talking to each other all the time, I think your higher selves are talking to each other all the time as well. So when you get these feelings of like wanting to wait for this person or being excited for the future with this person, I feel like that's their higher self, like giving you a heads up of what's to come, and giving you a heads up of how they truly feel. This is just so beautiful. And this to me is like a very healthy relationship as well. I think it's on the Angel Tarot cards that the Lovers card has a message of good health. And I associate the number 6 with good health. I'm honestly not sure if that's like one of the real meanings of it, or if it's something I just made up or something that I've seen through my readings, but I do associate it with a healthy and peaceful situation. So if you guys have been through anything a little bit tough, and honestly messy is the word that's coming to my mind, if you've been through anything a little bit hard or messy or just not very healthy with this person, I do think that there is a chance for a beautiful recovery. But whatever union we're seeing here, it's like this is going to sweep you off your feet. This is going to be very romantic, or very moving, emotional, sentimental. We also have the Hierophant here, which again, this is a card that talks about being in alignment with your higher self. The number 5 represents that bridge between our 3D self and our spirit. So again, I think I already said this, but I do think that waiting or seeing this connection through to the end is something that is very much in alignment with the desires of your higher self, their higher self, very much in alignment with the plan that you guys sort of wrote out, so to speak, before incarnating. And this is like one of my favorite cards in this deck, I think, the illustration, because I just love how this being is putting their hand over their heart and then also looking up at the exact same star in the sky. And it's just like recognizing the divine within yourself, recognizing the divine within this connection. I think as time goes by with this connection, you're going to see a lot more synchronicities. You're going to see a lot more divine interventions when it comes to bringing you guys together. And even more than now, if you've already been seeing them, those are going to be increasing, just to really confirm to you and just to keep showing you again and again, like you are on the right path, you are in alignment with what your souls want. This is also a card that can talk about commitment. Again, it can even talk about marriage. I'm not sure if this is a romantic connection that we're looking at here. If so, then there is potential for marriage in the future, or just to come together in a committed relationship. It could be that there is some promise being made here. Could even be like a contract being signed or some kind of agreement, if that applies to the type of relationship that you have. But just so that it can apply to many situations, let's think of this as like a promise. A promise, a commitment, a vow that I'm going to be here for you, you're going to be here for me, and this is it. I've also come to think of the Hierophant as long-term future or long-term plans, and it's a very stable energy. So the energy between you guys is really very stable and very healthy, or it's becoming that way. So of course we're going to look at what would happen if you choose to move on, but the energy looks very, very favorable for staying, for waiting so far. So if you choose to move on, we have the Eight of Cups. Thank you, very obvious. Eight of Cups is a card that literally talks about moving on and walking away. So this is like the equivalent of me asking your guides what will happen if you move on, and them saying they will have moved on. Like, thanks. And then we also have the Chariot. Interesting. So I do want to tell you guys that you can be very happy in your life even if you choose to move on. 8 is a number of abundance. 7 for me is a number of like good luck and happiness. So I just want you guys to know that you will be happy no matter what. I saw that from the start with this card, like your guides and their guides will support any decision that you guys make. Please don't think of it as like, this is the one that we want you to do and this is the one that we don't want you to do. Like, your guides are not looking at the situation like this. They just want you to be happy and will respect and support any decision that you make. It's interesting that we do have another major arcana here, and it's almost like, even though this may have been the main thing that your soul was wanting, the main destiny, as I called it before, or like the main storyline that your soul was planning, there are still other destinies for you out there. So even if you were to walk away from this person, walk away from this connection, you will find one of your destinies. You will find one of your higher selves desired paths. Maybe it's like a secondary destiny, or like an alternate ending, so to speak. I'm just putting quotes because I don't know the proper words for them. Maybe like an alternate ending, so to speak, in your soul story, but it is still a happy ending. One thing I will say is that I do think it will be difficult to walk away from this person. And there's a couple of reasons I say that. One being that in the Eight of Cups, we normally see the person walking away towards mountains, and I've always thought of that as like the journey they're about to embark on is not an easy one, because mountains are steep, they're rocky, they're hard, you can hurt yourself, you can get tired, and mountains do symbolically represent obstacles or tough times. So I do think if you choose to move on from this person, it will be difficult. that's not to say that it won't be worthwhile and that there's not happiness on the other side. And I think it's always difficult to walk away from somebody that we care about, and you will find something meaningful. What I want to say is that it's not like you're going to get over the pain of moving on from this person and then it's all for nothing, and that there's nothing else there for you. Like, it will be tough, but it will be worth it, because you'll find another joy. You'll find another one of your destinies. It will be worthwhile in that sense. But the other, I guess, little warning or thing to keep in mind that I want to say is that I think if you're to move on from this person, you should be really, really sure about it. When I look at this Chariot, rather than there being like two creatures, and actually, even if there are two creatures, it's the same message, but rather than there being two creatures here, it's one two-headed creature who is guiding you. And if these two heads have different ideas or want to go in different directions, it's going to be very, very hard for them to move forward. Yeah, this message applies even if it were two horses or two sphinxes or whoever it is guiding the Chariot. If the two creatures want to go in opposite directions, there's not going to be any forward movement. So it's almost like this is saying, if you guys like force yourself to move on or push yourself to move on when you're still on the fence about it, like you don't entirely want to, it's not going to work. Like, and I think this came out in a reading recently where it's like, your body can move on, but your mind won't, or like your body can move on, but your heart won't. And so I think what this is saying is like, there's no use in making yourself move on just because you think that you should, if that's not really what your heart wants. I think in order for you guys to successfully move on and really make that decision, it would have to be at a point where there's no doubt in your mind about it. Otherwise, I just think you could keep being pulled back to this. Like, I feel like there's more gravity, so to speak. There's more pull on this side of the equation where you would have to have like a really, really strong will and resolve to move on to successfully do so. This Chariot is making me think like you can't be of two minds about it. It's almost like they're saying if you're of two minds about it, it's better to just wait. It's better to just stay. That's kind of how I'm interpreting it. And again, with the Eight of Cups, like, it's a steep mountain, it's a hard journey, and it's hard to make hard journeys when you're not 100% on it, is kind of how I'm seeing it. But let's take a look at this last card, which will be advice from your spiritual team. And we have the Ace of Cups. So this is about filling your own cup, loving yourself, putting yourself first. At the end of the day, you need to do what is going to make you happy and what your heart wants to do. With this being a Cups card, with this being associated with emotions, it's really important for you guys. And I mean, different decisions call for different things, but I think when it comes to this decision, this is one that you're going to have to make with your heart. We have all of this water energy here, Cancer energy. I don't know if I remembered to mention that, but Cancer energy, which is all about your intuition and your emotions. We have, this Hierophant is putting his hand over his heart. It really looks like the heart is taking the cake here and is going to be your most important guide. And with this being all about, like I said, filling your own cup, loving yourself first, prioritizing your own joy and your own peace of mind, I feel like when it comes to this decision, you're putting in a lot of factors that shouldn't be there. Like, I should do this because it's the most rational thing to do, or like I should do this because I feel like I should, or other people feel like I should, when really it should be very simple. Like this number one, it's simple, it's singular. At the end of the day, it's what does your heart want, and that's it. Like, I really want to do this, but da 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 da. They're saying like anything that comes after that but, just like throw it out. When it comes to this situation, anything that comes after that but, just throw it out. And everything that becomes for the but is what your heart really, really wants to do. So I think you guys might be putting too much weight on like what you should do or what you think you should do or what you think this person or other people expect from you or what you think your guides expect from you. Like you might be thinking your guides are pushing you one way or the other when they're really not. They want you to make this decision and they want you to be happy with it. So this should be the biggest factor for you guys, your deepest heart's desire. Oh, and I'm also noticing like all of the zodiac signs here do make a window, like Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. These could be zodiac signs in your charts, but like Taurus, Gemini, Cancer are like next to each other. So it kind of makes like a window of time from Taurus season to Cancer season, which is like late April to late July. So that might be a time frame that you want to look out for. Okay, so these are all the messages that I'm seeing for you guys, so I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick-a-cards where you get to choose the topic, that will be linked down below too. I'm sending you guys lots of love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye! Hi number twos, so if you guys chose the green calcite, this is going to be a reading about whether you should wait for or move on from whoever it is that you are asking about. So I want to start off this reading by taking a look at your energy, the energy of the person you're asking about, and also the energy of your spiritual team. So, you know, where your guides are at in terms of this connection, how they're feeling about it. I want to look at everything. I want to look at how everybody's feeling. So we're going to start off with that, and then we will look at what's going to happen if you choose to stay and wait, and what's going to happen if you choose to move on, and then we'll get some advice for you for how you can navigate this decision. So we have some oracle and tarot cards here. I'm going to start off with the oracles, and this is going to be sort of like the energy check part of the reading. If you want, you can also use this part of the reading as like a check to see if this is the right pile for you, if the energy resonates with you or not. But let's get right into it. We're going to start with your side of the equation and see what your energy is like. So the first card that we have is Libra. There she goes. I wasn't sure if it was going to focus. And then a fucus with heal. So in terms of zodiac sign energy that we have present, we have obviously Libra, and then a fucus is like considered to be the 13th zodiac sign. Some people use it, but it's basically in between Scorpio and Sagittarius. So for zodiac signs present here, I'll say Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. So you might have those placements in your chart, or the person you're asking about might have those placements, or this could actually be talking about a window of time because Libra, Scorpio, and Sag are like all next to each other, and that could be making a chunk of time. And that's funny because that happened in group 1 as well. But this would be showing the window from late September to late December. Yes, late September to late December. So this window of time might be significant for you guys with regards to this connection. And actually, at the time that this video is uploaded, we will be right in the middle of that window. But if you happen to stumble upon this video after that, it could be like the next one that is coming up, or maybe something happened during this time that is important. But let's talk about your energy here. So I'm going to start with this Libra card. And when I think of Libra energy, I think of somebody who is very selfless and kind and gracious. I think this card is coming out as your guides letting you know that you have been very good to this person that you're asking about. You know, Libra puts focus on the other, puts emphasis on the partnership, puts emphasis on peace and harmony. And it's almost like this card is saying that you guys have done everything right, or you've done everything that you can to make this person happy and to do what is good for them and to maintain as much harmony as possible within this connection. And you may have been very selfless and compassionate towards this person on many different occasions, almost like prioritizing them. In some cases, it may even be like putting their needs before your own or putting their happiness before your own. I just feel like you have given a lot to this person, given a lot of your time, given a lot of your energy, given a lot of your understanding. And I think this is somebody that you did see as a very important person in your life and did want a really nice partnership with. With this word evaluate, as well as just this deep purpley color of the card, this is making me think of wisdom. It's making me think of insights and truth and healing. And we also have the word heal here as well. So I think that you guys have been very reflective and introspective when it comes to this connection. And what I mean about that is that, anything that goes on within this connection, it's almost like you use that as an opportunity to look within. What could this teach me? In what ways could this be trying to help me grow? What this person is showing me, what does that tell me about myself? What can I learn about myself through this connection? Like, you're taking a very insightful approach to the connection and an approach that is very interested in growing. So I feel that you guys have been very, very mature throughout the span of this connection. And there's something here about you guys, like if there was ever anything that triggered you or upset you or confused you or frustrated you within this connection, you'll always look within yourself first. You'll always take a look at yourself first. Like, why is this triggering me? What am I supposed to learn or see here? And I think that that's a very good way to be in many different ways, as long as you're not completely absolving the other person of any responsibility to do the same and to take their own accountability. But I just think this is coming out because you've been very selfless, understanding, compassionate, and mature, as well as patient and tolerant throughout this connection. This is what I think this Libra card is trying to tell us. And I do think that this connection has been a great catalyst for your own healing too. Now, with this evaluate, this could actually be talking about you guys, evaluating this person's place in your life, evaluating if you should hang around or if you should keep them around or if it's time to move on. And with the heal message accompanying this, maybe one of your concerns is have I healed enough to move forward with this connection? Or has this person healed enough to move forward with this connection? Alternatively, this could also be something like, are we as partners able to heal from our past or able to heal from what has happened? If you guys do have a history, are we able to overcome this? I feel like these are things that are weighing heavily on your mind. And, with this Libra energy here too, regardless if you do have Libra energy or not, this is represented by the scale and has the association with the Justice card, which is weighing out the options to figure out what is right. So maybe you guys are concerned with whether moving forward with this person is the right thing to do, whether that, makes the most sense. And this may be kind of a head versus heart situation as well, because the Libra and Justice energy can talk about that as well. But it does look like weighing out this connection, so to speak, has been very, very heavy on your mind. Just make sure that you're not, like I said, it's good to be compassionate towards others. It's good to be patient towards others. It's good to take accountability when there's conflict, but just make sure that you're not being too sweet to this person or too lenient to this person, I guess I could say. Make sure that you don't have a default of they're fine and I need to work on my stuff. Just make sure that you're being objective and being equal when you look at it. Okay, so let's take a look at their energy now. Look, so we have overcome. I'm just laughing because this is one of the words that I just use in this part of the reading, that you guys may be wondering if you and this person are able to overcome something together. And then we also have purity here. So maybe you guys do have kind of a tough history with this person. It does feel like a kind of tough or confusing dynamic that exists between the two of you, where there is some sort of hurdle or hurt or conflict to overcome. And the fact that overcome is coming out on the other person's side, I really do think that this means they want to overcome whatever they've been through with you. They want to heal. They want to become better as an individual and as partners too. They want to overcome anything that life throws at you. And with purity as well, I think this is showing that this person has pure intentions towards you. So I think that this person is telling the truth. This person is being real with you. For any of you guys who had any doubts about that, who had any doubts if they really mean what they say, if they really intend to back their words with action, if they really do want to move to a better place with you, if you've wondered like, are they hiding something? Are they deceiving me or anything like that? I really do think that this person is pure and honest and means what they say. And I think that their intentions to move forward with you and their intentions to back their words, like they really mean it. It's not like they're just saying it and then they're intending to do something else. Whether they can really come through with it, I think that remains to be seen. But I just want you guys to know that they don't have any intention of deceiving you or of presenting something that is inauthentic. This person really cares for you. There's some message of like, they have more emotional intelligence than you think, or they have more emotional intelligence than they let on. And also they have a lot more emotional depth than they let on. This person might present as being quite like unbothered by everything and doesn't think about anything, but I do think this person has a lot of depth. And I'm just spacing out a little bit. This person has a lot of depth and this person cares about you very, very deeply. Maybe they don't show it as much as they should, but I think these cards are coming out because their higher self really does want you to know this. When they tell you they care, when they tell you they want to try, when they tell you they want to make it work, they really do mean it. I think throughout the course of this connection, they have meant everything that they have said. And I know that the desire is there to make this work. Again, I think we'll have to see like in the next row of cards in the tarot if they can really come through with what they say and what they intend. But let's take a look now at this card in the middle. This is going to represent the energy of your spiritual teams. So where are your spirit guides at with regards to this connection, or even spirit themselves? And the card that we have here is Honor. So this is interesting. It kind of has similar energy to group 1. I feel a lot of respect in this card. I think that your higher selves respect each other a lot, regardless of what you've been through in the 3D. And I think your spirit guides respect each other a lot as well. This constellation is kind of shaped like a pocket, or even kind of shaped like a net. There's something about it that's making me think of a safety net, or making me think of you being held. So there's a very, very protective energy going on here. I think as you and this person go through your respective journeys of healing, your guides are looking out for you so hard. Like they have your back no matter what. They're going to protect you. They're going to protect this connection if it's something that you want to move forward with. And this word honor, it makes me think of like, we will honor your decision. So whatever you guys choose ultimately, like if you choose to wait and hang on and try to make this work, or if you choose to move on, your guides will respect and honor that. And I think we're not really going to see here your guides trying to push you either way, or like being proud of you for choosing one way and being disappointed at you for choosing another way. I don't really see anything like this, because they just have way too much respect for you and for your own will. And, you know, at the end of the day, our guides just want us to be happy. So maybe it's similar to group 1, and maybe we're going to see this in all of the groups, because that's really just how our guides feel at the end of the day. Like, you have free will, choose what you want to do, and we'll support it. We just want you to be happy. But let's move on to the tarot now. So this concludes our energy check, and now we are going to move on to the waiting versus moving on scenario. So the first two cards that we're going to look at, these are going to tell us what will happen if you choose to stay and if you choose to wait for this person or for this connection to come through. So we have the Fool here. This is Aquarius energy or air energy in general, in case that is significant. And we also have the Three of Cups. So right away there is definitely a potential for a happy future for the two of you. And more specifically, what I see is that there's potential for this connection to be more lighthearted. I was saying, like, just looking at this first row of cards and the messages that were coming out here, I really do feel like most of you guys who chose this group do have a history with this person. And not only that, but maybe one that hasn't been the most fun or pleasant all the time. It does seem like you guys have dealt with some kind of heavy energy. You've been going through healing. You have hurdles to overcome. And maybe this evaluate is you guys wondering if it's all going to be worth it and if you guys can end up happy in the end. And there's really strong energy here of lightheartedness. You know, the Three of Cups is a very lighthearted card. The Fool is carefree. So there is a feeling of heaviness being lifted, of things being easier, of not having to think so much and so hard and be so much in your head thinking about what's going to happen. This feels very much like living in the moment, not a care in the world, being present. Yes, it's like a weight lifted. This is the potential for future. And the Fool also makes me think of a clean slate, being the number 0 of the major arcana. It's completely new, it's completely fresh. So again, if you have some tough history with this person and you're worried that that's gonna, hover over you forever, or that you're never gonna be able to completely forgive and forget and heal, I do think that I know with these two cards that there is potential for that. There's also a message of loyalty here with the dog. Like, I think of the dog as the Fool's faithful companion, and it kind of reminds me of this purity, because dogs are very pure companions as well. And so this might be your person's higher self coming through, even through this honor card. Like, whatever you choose, I still care about you deeply. I still feel like you're one of my best friends, or have been one of my best friends, because the Three of Cups is about friendship as well. And I'm gonna stick with you no matter what you choose. If you choose to wait, then I'm gonna stick with you in this connection. If you choose to move on, then I'll stick with you in spirit, or I'll watch from a distance and support you, whatever it is that you want. But there's a feeling of like, I'll always be grateful for our friendship, and I'll always treasure the happy memories that we have, and I'll never forget you. It's a very sweet message that is coming through. One thing that I will say with this energy here, because this is a very like lighthearted and carefree and not thinking about things so much kind of energy. And that's kind of what I feel with this person. Again, I do think they have emotional depth to them, but I think that they like to move through life in this more carefree and not overthinking things kind of way. If that sounds like something you can be, if that sounds like something you can adapt to, then I think you have the green light to stay and wait here. I just am thinking about your energy that we saw in the beginning of the reading, where you think a lot. You're very deep, you're very insightful. You like to think about all of the different deeper meanings behind things. And I think you feel things very deeply, and you like to talk about your insights. And I just worry with all of this very lighthearted energy that there might be something like, in order to continue on with this person, you need to kind of turn off or turn down that part of you. Because I think that a very deeply thinking, deeply considerate, deeply insightful, talking about all the little details kind of energy is not really compatible here. And if that's a part of you that you cannot ignore, if that's like an intrinsic part of you that you can't change, that you're just deeply thoughtful and sensitive and in your head, then this connection might cause a little bit of stress for you, because I'm just not sure that this person is willing or able to meet you at this level of like deep insight and reflection and like pouring things over and discussing all the little intricate details of things. Like, I think this is not someone who is ready or willing to access their emotional depth, and they just want partnerships to be easy. They just want partnerships to be pleasant. And that's not a bad thing. It's just a matter of, is it compatible with you or not? So if the whole like lighthearted and we're not going to stress about stuff, we're not going to think about stuff, like if that sounds nice to you, then I think that you can be very, very happy in this connection. But if you feel like, nah, I want to get into the deep stuff, I want to talk about everything, I want to dive deep into our problems, the good and the bad, and it might be stressful. It might be stressful to be in this connection. There might be times where you feel like you have to suppress the full extent of what you're thinking about. Because I think this is not really somebody who gets in their head that much, or who is willing to get up in their head or get up in their feelings that much. They'd rather just be like, everything's okay. And maybe there's a lot for them to unpack there. That's not really my business, but that's just one thing that I'm kind of like concerned about, I guess. But again, this is the energy I see, and it's completely like up to you if this sounds like something you want to dive into and welcome into your life, or if it's a little bit questionable for you. Let's take a look at the 2 cards here and see what would happen if you choose to move on from this person. Oh, so we have the 2 of Cups coming out here. And we have the moon. So this is Pisces energy. Wow. And I was just talking about you guys being like incredibly deep and spiritual and sensitive and in your feelings and in your head. And that's exactly what the moon is. And then the 2 of Cups is about a perfect match. Somebody who reciprocates your energy, somebody who is like you, like your kindred spirit, your soul family, your soulmate, however you want to label it. Wow. So it's like, it's telling us you can be happy with this person, but there may be a perfect match for you out there elsewhere, where you don't have to bend so much, where you don't have to be so selfless, where you don't have to yield to the other person to fit into the partnership. Where I just feel like if you stayed with this person, I can just imagine in the future there being a lot of instances where you're confused or upset about something, or you just want to dig deeper into something and kind of feel like they're not willing to do that. And so you just process it by yourself. You just process it by yourself, or you go like talk about it with a friend or something like that. And maybe you guys are okay with doing that. I just don't know how much of your depth you can come to this person with and have that reciprocated. And what I'm seeing here, like, I don't know why, I feel like I'm like shaking right now. This is really powerful energy. If you chose to move on and open up to other options, I do see a very similar or kindred spirit or soulmate spirit, if you resonate with those labels, being a part of your life, somebody who is just like you. And like, you know, this Libra energy, like I said, this always wanting to be giving to the other person and always wanting to be compassionate and tolerant to the other person. It's a beautiful energy as long as it's reciprocated, as long as the other person is not absolved of the same effort, or of giving the same effort and giving the same energy. And with this Two of Cups here, which is about like a perfect energy exchange, perfectly being met in the middle, perfectly being reciprocated, not just mutual feelings, but like a similar temperament, a similar way of processing emotions, similar values, similar interests. Like your perfect match. Exactly. I already said that, but that's what the Two of Cups is. And I feel like this is what would come to you if you chose to move on from this connection. The Moon, like I said, somebody who is deeply spiritual, somebody who's not afraid to dive into the depths of their unconscious. And maybe that's what this person is afraid of, that they want to stay like blissfully. That's what this is. This is blissfully ignorant. The Fool and the Three of Cups. Yeah. Maybe this person wants to stay like that, but the Moon person I see who would come into your life, they're totally up for getting lost in their inner world and exploring their vivid imagination and diving into the depths of their soul and exploring their shadow side and their deepest desires. This is someone who's like full of passion. This is Pisces energy, so it's very romantic, it's very fantastical, it's very idealist. This is like an ethereal, surreal connection that you don't have to suppress anything. You can let it all out. And I feel kind of a deeper level of intimacy going on here as well. So yeah, like I said, this is someone who can match your depth, someone who can match your intensity and match that romantic and fantastical side of you, which is really, really cool. So again, totally up to you if you want to stay and make this work. Maybe this does sound better to you. Maybe you feel like you don't want to get too much in your head like this, and this will be a good energy to balance you out. It's totally your discretion, but I just want to show like the potential ways in which you could be happy and the potential things that are points of concern. But yes, this is what I see for the two paths. So now let's take a look at the final card, which represents the advice for you on how to navigate this decision. And we have the Eight of Wands. Interesting. So this is a card about manifestation. And the first message that is coming here is to trust. It's weird. It's like trust your subconscious mind enough to manifest what you need. Because these are two very, very different energies of the potential like partnerships that are coming into your life. And maybe you're wondering like, what do I really want, or what do I really need? And I think the Eight of Wands is here to say like, subconsciously, you will manifest the one that you need. So maybe there's not so much of a need here for you guys to make a conscious decision, because your unconscious mind is already going to manifest the choice that you need to make, like happening to you or happening in your life. It will show you the way. Whatever you end up manifesting will show you the way. So it's all about you trusting that you'll manifest the right thing. And the Eight of Wands is also very fast and sudden kind of energy. It's like a lot of things are happening at once. So this decision might be made faster than you realize. And it does have that energy of it kind of happening to you. I'm thinking of the traditional imagery of the Eight of Wands, where it's like the wands are falling from the sky, almost like falling into your lap or falling into your life. So if you're confused about this situation, I feel like the answers are coming faster than you realize. And it will be something that just happens naturally rather than you having to like force yourself to make a choice. And with that in mind, I would say, and I said this to group 1 as well, this is probably just good advice for anyone, but there's no need to rush yourself or force yourself to make a choice if you're not sure yet, because the answers you need are coming. And now I'm thinking of, it's the full moon in Gemini card from the Moonology deck. I missed that deck. It's not with me right now, but it says the answers you need are coming on it. And this card can also be about communication coming in. So maybe it's like this person is going to reach out and say a bunch of stuff to you that helps you make your decision, or maybe this person is going to come into your life, or maybe you already know who this is, and this person is going to be reaching out to you and telling you everything you need to know to make your decision. But you will make the right decision. You will. And I just need you guys to know that. So, yeah, that's everything that I'm seeing here for you guys. So I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself. Stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick-a-cards where you get to choose the topic, that will be linked down below too. I'm sending you guys lots of love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye! Hi number 3s, so if you guys chose the Moonstone, this is going to be a reading all about whether you should wait for or move on from the person you are asking about. There is something that I want to mention to you guys just because you were drawn to the Moonstone. I'm feeling called to tell you guys to pay attention to your dreams over the coming weeks, or even dreams that you have had recently, because they will be giving you insights that are relevant to your waking 3D life. And there's also a specific message that if you guys have had any vivid dreams recently, that it was like a cohesive storyline, but you didn't know where you were or who you were or what it meant. You might have actually been shown like a scene from a past life, you know? Like if you had a dream that was very vivid and it's not like random nonsense like some dreams are, but you just don't know what it was trying to show you, could be a past life thing. So we are going to start off this reading by checking in on your energy, the energy of the other person, and I also want to check in on the energy of your spiritual teams today. So we're just going to see like where your spirit guides are at, how they're feeling about this connection, both your and their guides, and then we are going to move on to see what will happen if you choose to stay and wait for this person, what will happen if you choose to move on, and then get you some advice for how to navigate this decision. So we have some oracle and tarot cards today. I'm going to start with the oracles, and this first part of the reading will sort of be like an energy check. So you can, if you feel called to, you can use this part of the reading almost as like a way to check if this is in fact the right pile for you, based on whether or not you resonate with the messages. So let's start off with your energy. The first card that we have is Majesty. Ooh. And we have Freedom. That's so cool. And okay, so I've just noticed this, but like Pegasus is like a flying horse, right? And then this says Eku something, Equuleus maybe, but isn't Equi something like a horse? So both of these cards could be talking about horses. Maybe you've like had a dream about a horse, or that's a significant animal for you, or maybe someone's like born in the year of the horse or something, but that seems to be a significant animal for you guys. Yeah, it probably is a horse because horses are a symbol of freedom, and this card talks about freedom, and horses are very majestic. So Majesty and Freedom, this is your energy. What's coming to me right away with this is that your guides are really proud of the confidence and self-esteem that you have cultivated for yourself. They're saying that your self-esteem has, and it's weird because the word I want to say is skyrocketed, but they're saying that it doesn't do you justice because they really want to put emphasis on the consistent efforts that you've put in over time to build up your confidence and to build up your self-esteem. And skyrocketed may not do it justice because it could sound like it's just popping off out of nowhere, but they're really, really proud of the work that you have put in to feel comfortable in your skin and to really feel worthy. Like, you guys are at a point now, or you are about to reach a point where you truly feel worthy of the best types of blessings, the best opportunities, the best connections, like the best that the world has to offer. You truly feel like you're deserving of that. And if you haven't already, I feel like you're about to start manifesting amazing, wonderful blessings into your life. So this Majesty card is like you guys highly loving and respecting yourselves and seeing yourselves for the royalty that you truly are. Like you're a divine being and you're finally seeing that. And with this freedom coming out next to it, there could be a correlation between your feelings of self-worth and self-esteem and a desire to free yourself from this connection, or a desire to want freedom. And maybe many of you guys who chose this group, a big part of you has already moved on, or a big part of you wants to move on, and you're just watching this for confirmation. But this could also just be like, the more you love yourself, the less you feel like you cling to this person, the less you feel like you put this person on a pedestal, the less you feel like your happiness depends on them. It doesn't have to be a freedom of like, I'm walking away from them, but just that my emotional state is not so dependent on you. It can be like you're freeing yourself in that sense as well, but it's like you are becoming the main character now instead of them. You are on the pedestal now instead of them. This is the kind of vibe that I see you guys in. So let's take a look at their energy as well. We have Pleiades with optimism, and we have Canis Venatici, maybe? I usually don't say the name of the constellations, but I was naming all the rest, and I wanted to be consistent with the word hunt. And you guys have some really pretty colors in these cards. I mean, they're all pretty, but they just look really nice together. With Pleiades here, maybe some of you guys resonate with starseeds and especially resonate with Pleiadians. That could be a little message of confirmation for you guys. But yes, also, the letter P might be significant because we have a repeating letter P. So that could be somebody's initial, or that could be like the name of a place that is significant to you guys. But yes, let's get back to their energy. So we have optimism and hunt. Now this could definitely be their energy with regards to you. So they might feel very optimistic about where this connection is headed. And also with this Pleiades, just because we were talking about star seeds, which if you are a star seed on Earth, you kind of have like a home away from home, so to speak. So they might feel a little bit of that in you, even if you guys don't resonate with star seeds or anything like that. It could be kind of symbolic for how this person has perhaps felt misunderstood or felt like the odd one out, felt like the black sheep throughout their life. But when they come together with you, they feel understood. They feel like they have a safe place. They feel like they have a home with you. Kind of like your weirdness recognizes their weirdness and vice versa. And I think that they really appreciate that familiarity and feeling of belonging that they have with you. And with this hunt as well, I feel a lot of certainty in this card, because I think I always pointed out when I get this card that this to me looks like a beeline, especially because we have the word hunt. It's like, I know exactly where I'm going. So this can definitely be showing that this person feels very optimistic about you and the potential of this connection. And they know for sure, like without a shadow of doubt in their mind, that they want to pursue you. If you are not in contact with this person, or if you're not at the level of, well, I'm assuming that all of you are not at the level of relationship you want to be, or else I'm not sure why you would be watching it, but it could be indicating that this person is planning to make a move towards you, and they're very, very sure about it. So if you haven't seen that yet, it might be something that is brewing within them. If you guys were worried, like wondering if they have someone else, or wondering if they've forgotten about you or anything like that, I feel that they really still have their mind set on you, and that is what this hunt card is showing. They still think about you intently. They still watch you intently. They're checking in on you in some ways, and like there's no doubt in their mind about if they want someone else or anything like that. Now, this could be their general energy There could be something else in their life that is very exciting that is about to happen for them, that they're feeling optimistic about. And for those of you who have felt a distance with this person, this Hunt card could be indicating that they are currently working on a goal, pursuing something that is really, really important to them, and they're just like consumed by that. Like all of their energy is going towards that. That could be something else that this Hunt card is indicating. But let's take a look at the final card here, which represents the energy of your spiritual teams and what they have to say about this connection. And we have Sagitta. Kind of sounds like Sagittarius. So that could be an important zodiac sign for you guys, whether that's one of your placements, one of their placements, or Sagittarius season is going to be significant for you guys. Could also be indicating or be a confirmation if you guys are from different parts of the world, or if you're in a long distance relationship, because Sagittarius energy does have to do with like foreigners or foreign lands. So that might be a confirmation for you guys. But we have the word objective here. Now, objective can mean two different things, right? It can mean like, I have an objective point of view on this situation. But it can also mean like you have a plan, you have a goal. And I'm thinking it's more of the latter. I'm thinking it's more of a plan or a goal. And so this is interesting because the first two groups, it's not that the spiritual teams were ambivalent. Well, maybe, but it was more like they were like, oh, just do whatever you want and we'll support you. But here, I feel like your spiritual teams do have a little bit of a bias when it comes to what they would like to happen between the two of you. So we'll probably see that in the second row of cards. Kind of like they have a plan or they have a goal of what should happen between the two of you. Now, when I look at the shape of this constellation, as of now, I'm not sure if we are seeing two people who are walking together and then they split and go their own ways, or if we're seeing two people who started separately and then met in the middle and continued on together. Like whether we see it going this way or that way, I'm not sure. So that's probably my cue to look at the next row of cards and see what exactly is going on here. But we will probably see that your spirit guides are maybe a little bit more biased, or, you know, they actually are more opinionated when it comes to what they think would make you happiest compared to the first two groups. So with that in mind, let's move on now and take a look at the second row of cards. So now we're going to look at what will happen if you wait, what will happen if you move on, and your advice to navigate the decision. So let's look at the first two cards to see what is going to happen if you choose to stick around and wait for this person. So the first card that we have is, this one is the Knight of Pentacles. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so there's potential here. There is potential. What I will say, since we have two Pentacles cards, I do think that if you were to wait for this connection to become what you've hoped it to be or to reach its final form, it would take a very, very long time. Now, just keeping in mind the energy that you guys are coming into, where you're really feeling yourself, really loving yourself, and really craving freedom. Maybe some of you guys are craving like a new adventure in your life. Maybe you're craving to travel or start a new career, start a new project. And maybe the more you get into that, the less you're gonna wanna feel tied down or feel like you're waiting around and holding your breath for something to happen. Because this energy is very slow. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest knight out of all. And it's interesting that in this deck, the Knight of Pentacles is portrayed as a child, because maybe it's like you're waiting around for this person to mature or something like that, waiting around for them to grow up, waiting around for them to step up or something like that. Whereas you're already growing, you're skyrocketing, in the words of your guides, or one of the words that they attributed to you. So this could be an energy that is a little bit frustrating for you, honestly. And I often see when it comes to situations like this, when the Knight of Pentacles comes out, it really is something that, like, it's been so long that you start to question if it's really worth it. Now, I can't say exactly how long you would have to wait, but this is not like in just a few weeks or in just a couple months kind of thing. It would likely be, the better part of a year, or maybe even like more than a year for some of you. And also with the Knight of Pentacles, it often represents to me a journey that is not linear. Meaning that you don't necessarily feel like you're making progress all the time. Sometimes you might feel like, oh wow, we're getting closer. Oh wow, they're growing. Oh wow, they're starting to open up and make moves. And then other times it's crickets. Other times you feel distance. Other times you feel like you're actually drifting apart or losing progress. So it is a journey that can be a little bit of a roller coaster. And yes, if you look in the long run, you are making progress towards where you want to go. But again, it's kind of a feeling of like, is it worth it to wait this long? And is it worth it to put myself through this roller coaster? Now, if you do choose to be patient and stick it out, we do have the Ace of Pentacles here, which not only represents a new beginning, but it does represent some sort of offer being given to you. And when it comes to the Ace of Pentacles, this is a pretty solid offer. Like, it's not just like an offer to go out on a date, or it's not just like a text message. It's usually an offer for a solid long-term commitment. So this is something that would come to you eventually, but I think your guides just want to emphasize how long it might take and how it could be kind of frustrating or tiring. And they want you to consider the direction that you see yourself going in as an individual, because it kind of seems from the beginning like your guides are trying to show you that you have so many amazing new opportunities coming to you. So many adventures are going to come knocking on your door. And I think you guys are going to want to be like a free spirit and spread your wings and fly. And it's kind of coming across like this connection might tie you down in some ways, or it might take up more of your energy than you should be giving away. It just feels like a kind of long and drawn out situation, but I want it to be up to you, of course. So if you already knew this and you're prepared to like wait it out, then this could be confirmation that, waiting it out is going to bring the outcome that you want to you. So it's just something to be aware of. If you've been feeling like frustrated or impatient, I don't see things getting easier or really significantly moving anytime soon. So it just really depends if you're okay with that, and if you think that that's compatible with, your next chapter and all of these amazing opportunities to travel and try new things and stuff like that. So let's take a couple cards now and see what will happen if you choose to move on. We have the Six of Swords, and this is a card about travel, which we had Sagittarius energy that made me think about that, with freedom that was coming out for some reason. And then we have the Six of Swords here. So maybe your soul is calling you to like move somewhere new, or move houses, or move jobs or something. And then we also have the Ace of Swords. And this is really interesting because, first of all, we have an ace on both sides, which is kind of cool. But over here we have two pentacles, which are, like I said, very slow. And then over here we have two swords, which are very, very fast. So I don't know, it feels like you're kind of being held back or dragged down on this side, whereas here you're just free and you're just zooming and you're soaring. So I do think if you choose to move on from this person, it will be hard at first, especially mentally, because you might kind of be in a place of, did I really make the right decision? And be thinking about all of the what ifs and be thinking about all of the coulda, woulda, shoulda stuff. You know, this Swords energy corresponding with your mind. This could be showing you guys for some time being kind of in your head about it and like really frustrated or confused with if this was the right choice to make. But the Six of Swords is about moving on to a more peaceful situation. We would normally see somebody in a boat and they are moving away from turbulent seas and moving on to peaceful seas. So it's like a hard situation gets easier. And then the Ace of Swords as well. It's about a breakthrough, breaking through a tough situation, breaking through the confusion, and finally feeling sure and finally feeling free. So, and maybe some of you guys have tried to move on from this person before, but it was too like mentally tough. And so you've been kind of back and forth, but your guides are showing that there is a breakthrough here. Like if you really free yourself from this connection, yes, it could be tough at first, but eventually you'll just feel so much peace. This feels like a weight lifted. It feels like peace. It feels like clarity. Like eventually it will be clear to you that you made the right decision. When you're off doing your amazing things and enjoying your freedom, it will be clear to you. So maybe this is the side that your guides are a little bit more biased towards, and this is not to say that you won't have their support if you choose to stay and wait. It's just that I think they can see how happy freedom would make you. And so they're kind of, you know, low-key rooting for you to break the chain and to free yourself. But it's your life at the end of the day. So if you're really, really dead set here, they're still going to support you, but they just want to give you that heads up of like, you know, be aware of how long you could be waiting for this person to make a move, for this person to grow up. And also be aware that this is not going to be a linear journey. Like there's going to be ups and downs where you feel like you're getting closer and then you feel like you're getting farther away. And I think it's just a lot to put yourself through. And I feel like this might, it's funny. It's like, I want to say this is the easy way out, but in human terms, that has a negative connotation. But this is the easy way. This is the way that lifts the weight off of you. After you get past that initial, you know, confusion, what if I made the wrong choice, and that sort of frustration of looking back on how things could have been differently, if only they had done this, if only I had done this. Once you get past that stage, I just see total peace and serenity and clarity for you. I also want to mention, because both of these cards can talk about communication, there might be a time after you've moved on where this person tries to reach out again, this person tries to communicate to you again. What you do at that point is totally up to you. But I just have a feeling that it might not be like the last that you hear from them if you do move on. And maybe that's something that's comforting for you, that you're allowed to move on. You can move on, and it doesn't mean that you're closing the door forever. You know, like the door can always be open, communication can always be initiated again. But I just feel like when it comes to the next chapter of your life and what your soul wants for you, it's freedom. It's freedom and putting yourself first. And they're saying like being the main character for once. Like you don't have to take care of anyone. You don't have to check in on anyone. They want you to be like completely free. So let's take a look at the final card. This is going to be advice for you when it comes to navigating this decision. And we have the 10 of Wands. So this is a card about taking on too much, biting off more than you can chew, feeling overworked, feeling unsupported, feeling unreciprocated, like you're taking on a burden that is too heavy. So I think I can see where your spirit guide's bias lies, and it's towards the freeing yourself and moving on. And now with this card, the 10 of Wands, we have this added message of maybe this is too much of a burden. Maybe in this connection, you have been carrying most, if not all of the weight. Like, you've been the one to initiate everything. You've been the one to push for growth, for progress, for communication. You may even have been like picking up after this person's mess when they should actually be figuring out their own stuff on their own and helping themselves and healing themselves. And if you pick up too much of slack for the other person, it's not only unfair to you, but you're also robbing that other person of the opportunity to take responsibility for themselves, because everybody needs to learn how to do that. And so we might feel like we're helping when we like pick up other people's mess, but it's more enabling than helping. And so maybe that's just a specific message for some of you, that it's important that you let this person learn how to help themselves and learn how to grow up by themselves. Even if that means like you can't wait for them and they have to do that on their own, then so be it. But yes, with this 10 of Wands, I feel like you guys have maybe been burdened by this connection, and that's honestly nothing against this person. Just sometimes we're not compatible in the way that we need to be. And the other thing is, like, when I say like, is this connection worth it? It's not like I'm saying that this person isn't worthy or like this person isn't good enough or anything like that. But I think your guides are trying to tell you that you don't need to go through this stuff to get what you want. I think what you guys want is a happy connection, a happy partnership, a reciprocal love, and maybe a companion to go on your adventures with. You just want to be happy and loved and understood and accepted. And they're saying that you don't have to go trudge through all of this mess to get that. And maybe some of you guys feel like you do, especially if you had people in your life, especially earlier on in your life, who made you feel like you had to earn their love, earn their affection. You have to work for it. You have to wait for it. If you have that kind of program in your mind, then you might feel like you're doing the right thing by suffering through this long waiting period. And this might very well feel like an easy way out that is not noble or something like that. So I think your guides kind of want you to wipe some programs from your mind. Like, do you feel like you have to suffer to earn love? Do you feel like you have to pick up the slack for other people when they're not reciprocating? Were there people in your childhood that made you do that? Like with this child here, that could be a link to your childhood. Like, this person isn't taking care of me or giving affection, so I guess I'll just do it myself. Or I guess I have to be the one to keep going and asking them and carrying all the weight. There could be some earlier experiences that make you think that what you're going through right now is like normal and okay, but it's not. You don't have to burden yourself like this. Some things are meant to be easy and some things should be easy, and we shouldn't have an aversion to that. Sometimes you just deserve for things to be peaceful and happy and effortless. And so I think this is why your guides are biased towards this. It's not so much about like, oh, this person is good for you, this person is bad for you, but it's because they want you to have this experience of deserving happiness and peace without having to suffer first. They want you to see firsthand what this is like. And I think that's why they are pushing you more towards this way. And I think even this person's guides would understand and respect that as well. But this is what I'm seeing for you guys, so I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick-a-cards where you get to choose the topic, that will be linked down below too. I'm sending you guys lots of love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye! Hi number 4s, so if you guys chose the Amethyst, this is going to be a reading all about whether you should wait for or move on from the person you are thinking of. So we're going to start off this reading by taking a look at your energy, the other person's energy, and I also want to take a look at the energy of your spiritual team, so like your spirit guides and even spirit themselves, to see where they're at and what they're thinking about this connection. So we're going to do that first, and then we're going to see what will happen if you choose to stay and wait, what will happen if you choose to move on, and give you some advice for how you can navigate this decision. So we are going to start with some oracle cards for our energy check, and if you feel called to, you can also use this part of the reading to determine whether or not this is in fact your pile based on whether or not you resonate with the energy. But let's take a look at your energy first. So to start off, we have power, and we also have loyalty. Ooh, so I am actually going to put these two cards together and interpret it as you guys having a very powerful loyalty towards this person. There's something about this connection where it's like either this person makes you feel things that are stronger than you've ever felt for anyone else, or you've had feelings for this person for a very long time, or you've been drawn to them for longer than you have been drawn to anybody else. I think there's something about this person that is very, very special to you. And I know that you clicked on this video, which is like a should I wait or move on? But I even have a feeling that many of you guys are already very sure that you want to keep this person in your life. So maybe you're just curious to see what the cards have to say. Maybe you're just looking for confirmation, but I feel a lot of certainty with this loyalty card. And there was a card in another pile. I already forget which pile it was, but it was the card that says hunt on it. And the constellation looks exactly the same. It's just like 2 points with a straight line. And I was saying this kind of image makes me think of a beeline, or it makes me think of someone who's like very sure of the direction they're going in, or they have their sights really clearly set on something. So I do feel that most of you are very sure about this person's place in your life, or at least very sure about what you want. Like you want to keep this person around. And I think even the reason that your guides are bringing this up is because if you feel strongly for this person than you have for anyone else, and if you felt for this person longer than you have for anyone else, it's almost like they want you to know that that's no accident, that that's no coincidence, and it is something that you should pay attention to. Like there's a deeper reason that you feel this way. So I think this is coming out for validation first and foremost, but I want to just go ahead and take a look at their energy now. So we have Leo with the message of defeat and love. Cygnus with the message of love. And I'm pretty sure that this is supposed to be a swan. So swans and lions might be important spirit animals for you guys. We also have Leo here. So Leo could be a significant zodiac sign, whether you have Leo placements or this person has Leo placements, or Leo season could be significant for you guys. Like maybe you met in Leo season, or you will have a significant development in your connection during Leo season. Could also be that one or both of you is like a creative or a performer or something like that with that Leo energy here. But when I look at this person's energy, first I want to talk about how I think this person might be doing in general. This person might have taken a hit to their self-esteem recently, or just have been going through kind of a period where their self-esteem is lower than usual. For some of them, it's coming through like their creativity has been stifled, or they haven't been able to express themselves in the way that they want to. Maybe that's because of their job. Maybe that's because of, restrictions that we've had placed on us for the past couple years, like affecting their expression. But I feel like this person has been kind of down on themselves lately. Maybe they're just starting to come out of it, but with this Leo message and then the message of defeat, that's kind of how it's coming across to me. And with love here as well, it's almost like I see this person trying to build back up their confidence and build back up their self-love again. And in fact, maybe you have really helped them with that because you're so loyal to them and you give them strength, you give them power that no matter whether they're at their highs or at their lows in life, whether you're seeing them at their best or at their worst, you still love them and you still support them. So maybe this is coming through because you've been a really big help to them during this time. or you're an inspiration for them to get better and to get back up where they used to be. But when it comes to how they're feeling about this connection, I mean, this is pretty literal. We have a love message here. So I definitely think this person has a lot of love for you, whether they have directly told you that or not. But with the message of defeat here, maybe this person feels like they missed a chance with you, or feels like the connection is over, or that the connection can't go back to how it was before. Or maybe they feel like they don't have any power to bring the connection to where they want it to be. Almost, they kind of feel like the ball is not in their court. So, and it's interesting that the way they came out, if this is you, it's like they have this love here, but this sense of defeat is blocking them. And maybe actually the defeatist energy is coming from low self-esteem, where it's like they are lacking confidence to the point where they've already just made up their minds that it can't happen. Like they stop themselves before they even try, almost like a negative self-fulfilling prophecy. It could be something like that, or yeah, they feel like they cannot come forward for one reason or another. But behind that, there is love. Behind that, there is love. That's like the only way I can interpret this. So let's take a look at the middle card now. This is going to be how your spiritual teams feel about the connection, and also like how your guides feel about each other. And we have Draco with guard. So in addition to lions and swans, maybe also dragons are significant for you guys. If you see these spirit animals, it can be a sign that your person is thinking about you, or just your guides popping in to say hi and letting you know that you're on the right path. But I really, really like the message of guard, because of course it brings up images of your spirit guides heavily protecting you. I think that your guides are protecting your person, and your person's guides are protecting you. Like you're looking out for each other. And I also think that this is letting us know that they're guarding this protection. And it's kind of been interesting. We've had some mixed messages throughout the piles where some people's guides are like a little bit more open to whichever way it goes, you know, whether you wait or move on. And other people's guides have a little bit of a bias. And I feel like your guides and your person's guides have a little bit of a bias that they would like you guys to work things out, that they would like you guys to get together. I think literally, like if you guys get together, it could be very powerful. Like this could literally be talking about you guys being a power couple, whether it's romantic or not, almost like a dream team or a dream unit. With this loyalty, I really think the feelings are mutual in how strong you feel about each other and how long you have felt something special with each other. I don't think I need to explain love. That's pretty straightforward. And Leo can also talk about not only boosting each other's self-esteem like we spoke about before, but also that there's a lot of like passion between the two of you. If this is a romantic interest that you're talking about, it could be that there's a lot of like sexual chemistry or a lot of physical sparks that fly between the two of you that's really special. If this is a platonic relationship, it could just be that when you're around each other, you feel sparks in a different way. Like maybe you feel sparks of inspiration, you feel sparks of creativity, maybe you feel like you can create something really amazing together. I think that both of you mutually feel like there is something special about this person, but your guides want you to pay more attention to that, and they want you to know that this hasn't been explored fully, or it hasn't been brought to the full potential that it can be brought to in the 3D. And the more I speak about this, the more I do think that regardless of the nature of this connection, whether it's romantic or not, the two of you can create something very, very beautiful. Whether it's your love, whether it's a project, whether it's a family, whether it's a business, like you can give birth to something really, really beautiful together. And actually, maybe you have so much divine protection and like divine bodyguards because what you will create together is going to bring a lot of light to the world. Even if it's just that the love that you have for each other is so beautiful that it lights up other people. There's something about your connection that is, I think, related to light work in one way or another. If you're creating something together, maybe it's going to move a lot of people. Maybe it's going to help a lot of people learn to love themselves and learn to be themselves. So because you're like the bearers of light, that's why you have such heavy protection. It's like these spiritual bodyguards want to make sure that nothing happens to you guys so that you can fulfill this birthing of light into the world with this other person. And I'm also thinking of the dragon in Shrek, because we have Draco here and the purple color, and like the dragon in Shrek is purple. And you know, it's like the first scene where the dragon's in the movie, and at first she's like really scary and she's on the attack and like super intimidating. But then she, you know, Donkey like woos the dragon. He's like, oh, you're a girl dragon. And then the dragon's like batting her eyelashes. And then we see her more like soft side and loving side. And all of that to say, that whole scene just made me think that maybe there's a little bit of like intimidation between the two of you, where like you are intimidated by this person and vice versa, or like you think that this person is out of your league and vice versa. Like sometimes you see each other as that scary dragon, whereas if you were to just get close to each other and cozy up with each other, then you would see that you're actually more of the, you know, kissy, batting eyelashes kind of dragon. You're a girl dragon. That's what you need to know about this person. They're a girl dragon and they need to know that about you too. And I think your guides see that sort of mutual, it's like you admire each other so much that you could be a little bit intimidated or just care a lot about what the other thinks about you. And your guides think that's really cute. And I hope that doesn't sound belittling, because I know that being intimidated by someone or like afraid to approach someone can be a scary or uncomfortable thing. And I hope it doesn't come across as me being like, oh, you're intimidated? That's cute. It's like, it's very endearing to them. It's very sweet to them, because they see you on a soul level and they see how you're just both badass girl bosses, girl dragons, and you're equals like this. But the fact that your human selves may be a little bit scared or worried about how you're coming off to each other, it's just, I don't know, they just find it endearing. I think a lot of the time beings in higher dimensions find the human experience endearing because like they can relate to it, and maybe our problems seem a little bit smaller to them, and they're like, oh yes, just guys being dudes, you know? But this is what I see for the energy check. So we're going to move on now to the tarot part. So we're going to find out what will happen if you choose to stay and wait for this person, what will happen if you choose to move on, and then give you some advice for how to make the decision. So let's start by seeing what will happen if you choose to wait for this person. So we have the 5 of Cups, and we have, 6 of Wands. Okay. So, and there was, I think it was pile 1 that got a 5 and a 6. In this same exact place. And we spoke about how 5 talks about change and growth and development. 6 talks about union, peace, harmony, unconditional love. Really nice numbers to come out together. And then if you add them up, they add up to 11, which is like you're reaching an amazing breakthrough or an amazing new cycle. So I really like to see this. And I have to say, I'm quite happy that they came out in this order, like the 5 of Cups followed by the 6 of Wands and not the other way around, because the 5 of Cups is about kind of a sad or disappointing situation, but one that is not the end of the world. Like you guys might know, usually we would see a person crying over spilled cups, but just behind them there are still 2 upright cups. So it's like, it just depends what you focus on. There's still a bright side, there's still a positive. And then the next card that we have is a 6 of Wands, which is about victory, which is about getting your desired outcome, which is about feeling confident and feeling successful and feeling on top of the world. So when they come out this way, it tells this story of like, things have been tough, things have been sad, but there's still a silver lining and you can still have a victory. So for those of you who have had a kind of tough past with this person, I think these cards are coming out to let you know that things can always turn around for the better, and nothing has really been lost. The Five of Cups often reminds me of like that phrase or that expression, what's meant for you will not pass you by. And I think in many ways, this person is meant for you, so to speak, or you were meant to have this time together. And I don't think that they could pass you by so easily. And even though you may have had some hurdles along the way or some disappointments along the way, it doesn't mean that everything has been lost. I think that's what this Five of Cups is trying to tell you. And then, like I said before, the Six of Wands is victory. It's getting your desired outcome. And there's also a message about like being in the public eye or being admired in the Six of Wands. So when it comes to a reading regarding connections, I often think of it as like the relationship being official or being out to people. So I think that when you guys get together, not only are you guys going to be very happy, but I think there's going to be a lot of people in your life and a lot of people in their life who are also really happy. Like, either they know you and they've been like rooting for you guys to get together and rooting for you guys to work things out, or when you guys meet each other's like family, friends, people in your lives, they're gonna love you. Like their people are gonna love you and your people are gonna love them, because there's that feeling of being popular with this card and like being admired by a lot of people. And we had power here, which is like a power couple. So I think a lot of people are going to recognize the specialness of your connection, the same way you feel so special about them and they feel so special about you. Even like outsiders, like people who aren't you two, can look at you two and say like, wow, there's something really, really special here. Like you guys exude power couple vibes. And if you are resonating with like collaborating or creating something together, you might generate a lot of buzz, because the Six of Wands, it can talk about like fame and public figures and stuff like that. So you guys might be achieving like a really important accomplishment together. And actually, maybe some of you guys are asking about a goal. Like, should you and this person wait for this goal to be achieved, or should you just give up on your dream? Because I can totally see this as like, there will be struggles along the way, there will be failures along the way, but eventually you're gonna make it. Like that's kind of how I'm reading it. So maybe some of you guys, or like you're asking about someone you want to collaborate with, or you're asking about someone you want to work with, or a job or something like that. It could very well be romantic, but I guess this one has more non-romantic vibes than the other piles. Although, like I said, it can totally be romantic, especially considering like this love here and this passion and how strongly you feel for each other. Another way I can interpret these two cards is that you will end up together, you will end up very happy, but maybe there's some things that you have to say goodbye to along the way, or there's some sadness that comes with that. An example that I can think of really easily is a long distance relationship. So it's saying like, if you choose to stay with this person, everything will be okay. You'll make it through the long distance. You'll end up very happy together, but just be prepared for sad times along the way. Like just be prepared to miss each other sometimes, be prepared to have doubts sometimes. Like you'll get there, but just know you have to pass through the Five of Cups. So it could just be a little bit of a heads up like that. Another example that's coming to me now is like two friends who were like the best of pals, and they used to always like go out and party together and see each other like every weekend and do all of these crazy shenanigans and adventures together. But then one of them like gets married and has kids, and so they have this big commitment in their life, and they can't, go out and be crazy all the time like they used to. So it's like we can still be very happy together, but we have to say goodbye to some of our old ways. Like we have to say goodbye to some of our old dynamics. So maybe this is a little bit of like a bittersweet union, or it's a happy union, but you have to pass through some sadness first. If you've already been through the sadness, I'm not saying that you have to do that again. I don't think you'll have to go through another sad chapter, and you can just think of this as like the past that is behind you, and you're coming to this Six of Wands now. So yeah, very happy times ahead if you do choose to stay and wait for this person. Let's take a look at what will happen if you decide to move on. So we have the King of Pentacles and we have Temperance. So here we have Sagittarius energy coming through, quite a bit of fire because we had Leo and then Sag. All right, so, oh yes, and sorry, also Earth sign energy with the King of Pentacles. Sorry, I just like blanked for a second. So I want both of you guys to know, even though your person is probably not watching, or maybe they are, who knows? I want both you guys to know that you will be extremely happy and successful no matter what. Like, you'll have a good life no matter what. Especially with this King of Pentacles here. It's specifically showing me like you will have a very high quality life. You will be very successful. You'll have a very comfortable and cushy lifestyle. I'm wondering if there's some of you who it's like maybe at some point you've felt like you need this person in your life in order to be happy, or you need this person in your life in order to be successful and make your dreams come true. Because it kind of feels like this King of Pentacles is here to reassure to you, or even both of you, that even if you did part ways, you'll still be incredibly successful. You'll still accomplish everything that you set out to accomplish. You'll be very abundant. You'll be very highly admired and highly regarded no matter what. And it's just interesting that your guides feel the need to reassure that to you. So maybe you have felt at some point like you need them, or they have felt at some point like they need you. You definitely don't need each other. And with Temperance as well, like, you're gonna have happiness, health, abundance in the long term. What I could say about this Temperance here, Temperance can talk about, yes, balancing our emotions, but also kind of, because, you know, Temperance is about moderation. It's about self-restraint. The King of Pentacles is about being very practical. Okay, I'm gonna talk about this like it's a job, and then I'll try to like translate it back to your connection. If you guys were asking like, should I go for the job I'm passionate about, or should I get like a more normal or a more safe job? This is like, if you stay on your path to your dreams, there will be some sad times, but ultimately you'll be very successful and very happy. And then this is like, if you give up on your dreams, you'll still be very happy and successful. But sometimes you might kind of feel like there's a lack of passion in your life. This almost has like boring grown-up energy to it. And I'm not saying that you're a boring grown-up, and I'm not saying that grown-ups are boring. But you know what I mean? The King of Pentacles has a quite serious energy to it. Even the cat is sleeping. It has this feeling of like almost boredom to it. Yes, you'll be very comfortable. You'll have everything you need materially, but there might be an emotional element that is missing. And it feels like you're living the life that makes sense, or you're living the life that average Joes are expected to live. And even though you're doing very, very well for yourself, it's like there's this aspect of you that you need to suppress in order to continue living this way. And that aspect of you is your passion. Even here, it looks like the flower is crying. Like, these jugs are so heavy. It's like, it's weird because I do see happiness and fulfillment here. I guess I just don't see a lot of excitement or a lot of passion. So it's like you could move on to do great things. You could move on to live a successful life. You could have all the comforts. You could have all the contentment. But like on a core level, like there's a spark that is missing. There's like something that is missing. And like we said at the beginning of the reading, I feel like there's something that you've ignited in each other that no one else has before. And I think that if you move on from each other, you might find that no one else to come after is able to ignite the spark in the same way. And, you know, from an objective standpoint, I don't think there's anything wrong with living a life like this. Like, there are some people who do have these wild and crazy dreams, and then they say, like, you know what, that was silly. I'm just going to build a comfortable life and have a reasonably happy life. And that's fine. That works for some people. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't move on from this person. But I just want to point out, like, the contrast between these two and, like, how different your life would be. Yeah, I mean, not to sound like a broken record, I just think there's some like fire that is missing here when I look at this. And then here it's like it might be a little bit more bumpy, there might be some sadness along the way, but ultimately you'll get to where you want to go. You'll get to what you always wanted within this connection and with this person. So I think, like I said, I think your guides are a little bit more biased towards sticking around with this person. But let's take a look at your final card. This is going to be your advice on how to navigate this decision. And we have the Knight. This is the Knight, right? Yes, the Knight of Swords. So I feel like this person is going to be reaching out to you soon. And there's something about this. First of all, interestingly, this kind of looks similar because this looks like a dragon and the shape is very similar, and this is a dragon. I think you're going to be hearing from this person soon, and it's either like you weren't expecting to hear from them at all, or you weren't expecting to hear from them so soon, or you weren't expecting them to say so much. Like, maybe you were hoping someday they would shoot you a text and just say, like, hey, how's it going? But actually the next time you hear from them, it's going to be like pages and pages of text, and you're like, what the heck is going on? Because sometimes, or actually very often, when it comes to connection readings, I do think of the Knight of Swords as like a dumping of sorts because we often see the knight is like charging into battle and his mouth is open and it looks like he's screaming and he's moving really fast, and it just gives me this feeling of like, there's so much I want to say to you, like I can't hold it in anymore. So this person might be back with a lot to say to you. If you see each other in person, you're probably going to have a much more like lengthy and voluptuous, that's not the word, I was going to say a voluptuous conversation, but you know, like a conversation with a lot of volume, with a lot of content, with a lot of stuff to talk about. The example that I'm being shown is like, let's say you haven't spoken to somebody in a very long time, but then you know that you're going to be at the same event and you're thinking in your head like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so awkward. If I see them in the same room, I'll just like ignore them. I'll just look the other way. Like, I'll just act like I don't care. That's what you're thinking. But then when you go to the event, you end up like right next to each other and having a heart to heart, and it's like way less awkward and way less weird than you thought it was going to be. So you'll be surprised by the volume and the swiftness at which this person is coming in to reach out to you. And this is also giving me the vibe of, this is less about you having to work with what you have now and make a decision with what you have now. And this is more like something is coming in to help you make this decision. So this person is probably coming in to talk to you about stuff that is overdue, share feelings that are overdue, and just hash out all the things that you need to hash out. And you know, the swords energy being about ideas, truth, communication, I think you'll get a lot of the answers that you need and a lot of the reassurance that you need to choose this and know that it's worth going through this Five of Cups, or to know that this Five of Cups is not the end of the world, and that with communication you can make it through. So again, I see happiness on both sides. I guess it will depend, like, if you guys would rather live the life of passion or live the life of stability and security. it's not that you can't have both, but this one just screams a lot more passion and this one just screams a lot more stability and security. And everybody lives their life differently, so there's no right or wrong answer. But like I said at the beginning, I think a lot of you guys are really loyal to this person and do want things to work out, and kind of already knew that you were gonna come out of this reading wanting things to work out and wanting to stay with them. And I just noticed the way I was saying, like, your guides are more biased to this side. If you even look at this, like, the dragon is looking that way, and this dragon is looking that way, and this way is the side of waiting, of staying. So if you guys do want to stay, know that wonderful things are coming to you, that this Five of Cups will be worth it. And I just think there's something really, really special here that a lot of people who choose this life, it's because they've never known this passion. Do you know what I mean? But you guys know this passion, and it's such a gift, and your guides are saying it should not be ignored. It's like a comet in the sense of brilliance and in the sense of its rarity. Like, this only comes once every 24 lifetimes or whatever it is. They're just saying it's really, really special, and they want to protect you guys, and they're in it to win it and they're in it to make it work, like your spirit guides and your higher selves. So really, really lovely message here. I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick-a-cards where you get to choose the topic, that will be linked down below too. I'm sending you guys lots of love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye! Hi, number fives. So if you guys chose the Spirit Quartz, this is going to be a reading all about whether you should wait for or move on from the person you are thinking of. So we are going to start off this reading by taking a look at your energy, the energy of the other person, and also the energy of your spiritual teams. I kind of want to see like where your spirit guides are at, both yours and theirs, and how they're feeling about this connection. And then we are going to move on and see what will happen if you choose to stay and wait for this person, what will happen if you choose to move on, and we'll give you some advice for how you can navigate this decision. So we have some oracles and some tarot cards. I'm going to start off with the oracles and do our little energy check, and you can use this part of the reading also as a way to determine whether this is in fact your pile based on how it resonates for you. So let's get right into it with your energy first. Ooh, we have Spirit. So this is kind of cool because you guys were drawn to the Spirit Quartz, and the camera timer just went to 111, and we have Spirit here. So Spirit is in the building for sure. And then we also have Plot. So I'm going to start off with this Spirit card that came up here. This could be a nod to your spiritual and psychic abilities. I think that you guys in general have a very good idea of what is going on in the soul world. So what I'm seeing is that when you guys meet somebody, anybody, you can kind of look past their 3D persona and see who they are as a soul. Maybe you even have the psychic ability of knowing a little bit about their journey, knowing more about their energy than just what meets the eye. It kind of seems to me like you guys have a very, very strong connection to the soul world. And so how that pertains to this connection is that maybe you guys have a very good idea, and in fact, maybe a better idea than you give yourself credit for sometimes, of, you know, who this soul that we are going to look at in a second, who this soul is to you, and why they're in your life, and why you feel so drawn to this person. And I do think this card is coming out to acknowledge a spiritual connection that exists between the two of you. I guess I should elaborate a little bit more on that, because just saying you have a spiritual connection can be kind of vague, but this can be anything from like your higher selves are in very close communication, you're visiting each other, you're sending each other signs, you're visiting each other's dreams. Spiritual connection can mean that you have had past lives together. Spiritual connection can mean that you have the same life purpose, or that you have the same star origin if you resonate with starseed energy. energy. It can be so many different things, but I feel like your soul is picking up on it. Maybe for some of you guys, you know, like the specific spiritual purpose of this person in your life. For others, you may still be trying to figure it out, but you just know that you feel something special. But this spirit card is definitely coming out to let you guys know that whatever you are feeling on an intuitive level, it deserves to be explored and it shouldn't be dismissed, because like I said, I think you guys have a better idea of what's going on than you give yourselves credit for. And it's interesting that we have plot right next to this card. Plot can mean many things. I think of it as the meaning of like a plan, like you're plotting something. And even in this case, also like the plot of a story, because I very often think of our destiny as just like the plot to our story that our soul wrote before coming here. And then you can also think of it as like what our soul was plotting for us to do. So I think that your soul does recognize that this person is part of your plot and that your souls plotted to meet each other. So let's take a look at their energy as well. Oh my gosh. So Andromeda, can you focus please? Thank you. So we have Andromeda with the message of beauty, and I was just talking about like starseed origins, so maybe some of you guys resonate with Andromedan energy. And then we have create. Aww. I do want to point out that we have the letter A that is repeating itself. So this could be a significant initial, like your initial or their initials. It could also be like the name of a significant place, like America or Africa or Australia or something like that. Could even be representing like Aries or April or August or something like that. Or that you guys are number one, because A is the first letter. Anyway, so I think it's so sweet that on their side we have beauty and create. And the first thing that is coming to my mind with this is that like this person thinks you are a beautiful creature. Like I think you're one of the most beautiful things that this person has ever seen. And I say thing not because you are a thing, but to emphasize that not only are you the most beautiful out of the people that this person has seen, but also of the things. So like, think of a beautiful night sky, think of a beautiful waterfall, think of a beautiful rainbow. Like you're up there with all of those things to this person, and your beauty just radiates from the inside out. There could also be a message that this person, if you guys are a creator, that they find beauty in the things that you create. Or even if you're not, actually, even if you're not a creative person, they might just find beauty in what you do in the world. Because honestly, even if it's not artistic, with anything that we're doing in the world, we are creating something. Like if you're a doctor, you're creating health and anything like that, you know? If you're a newscaster, you're creating information. Well, you're not creating it, but you're creating, I guess, like knowledge or well-informedness. Anyway, I think you guys get the picture of what I'm trying to say. I think whatever you put out into the world, whatever you leave behind with what you do in the world, this person sees a lot of beauty in that. I think this person really, really looks up to you highly. And there could also be like a desire to create beauty with you, which can mean so many different things. That could be like they want to collaborate with you and make something with you. That could be like someday they want to have a family with you and create a beautiful home with you. That could be like they want to make love with you, because that's kind of like creating beauty, you know? Basically, they want to mingle their energy with you. Whatever that means for you, whatever kind of dynamic this is, they want a melding of your energy and their energy. I'm thinking of like Two Become One by Spice Girls. Like two energy becomes one. This is what they want. And so I'm definitely seeing on their end a desire to be closer to you, a desire to know you more and to know your beauty more and to bask in your beauty more. Ooh, I'm like blushing. And a desire to be more intimate with you. And when I say intimacy, I mean that on all levels, not just like a physical or sexual thing, but, you know, to know somebody very deeply and to see their strong side as well as their soft side and their light as well as their shadow. that's the kind of, you know, intimacy I think that they long for. And they might feel at this time like there's either a lot of mystery to you, like you're kind of mysterious to them, or that there's just a lot of unknowns. They feel like they haven't gotten to know you fully, and that makes them like hungry for more, or that makes them thirsty for more. So let's take a look at this card in the middle. This is going to be like the energy of your spiritual teams when it comes to this connection. So like how your guides are feeling about each other and things like that. So we have convey. Interesting. It looks like your guides and their guides are in cahoots. I'm thinking of convey as like communicating. So I think that your guides are in frequent communication with each other. Like I think I said at the beginning of the reading, I think that your higher selves are in frequent communication with each other. And how you feel for each other, like your guides really appreciate that and they really get it. And with this convey here, maybe like your guides kind of facilitate communication between you. So, you know, this person's spirit guides might see you over here. You're listening to a song that is making you think of this person, and you're sending out energetically a lot of love to them. So their spirit guides are like, maybe I will arrange something for my human to run into that song too and think about you over here too. Like, I think your guides they're like your accomplices. That's not the right word, but you know, they're helping you out to convey your love to each other. And I see a lot of communication between them. And in fact, if there is a very close spiritual connection between the two of you, you guys might actually like have some of the same spirit guides, like you work with the same spirit guides or the same angels or the same star beings, if that resonates with you, of course. But I definitely feel a lot of closeness and a lot of familiarity, and the word camaraderie is coming to my mind. So maybe your souls are like best buddies, or your spirit guides are best buddies. Kind of a weird analogy, but it's like, you know, when two like parents are really good friends, and so they hang out all the time, and then their kids become friends. So then like when they go to hang out, it's like the parents can hang up upstairs and like drink and talk about grown-up things or whatever they do, and the kids are like playing together in the basement. It's like that kind of energy that, like, you know, the kids are you guys, the humans, and then the spirit guides are like the parents. But I just feel a lot of like, yeah, familiarity and camaraderie and merrymaking, and definitely your higher selves convey the love that you have for each other to each other. Your guides are facilitators in that, and I feel that they are really very happy about this connection. So and I just looked up to the camera and it said 1111. So, and didn't I see 111 too as well at the beginning of the reading? And then you have like spirit quartz and spirit here. You have create beauty. You have a plot, which is like a plan, and convey. This is really cool. All right, so let's move on to the tarot now. With all of this in mind, I'm really, really interested to know what we will uncover here. So the first thing that we're going to look at is what will happen if you choose to stay? What will happen if you choose to wait for this connection to reach its final form, so to speak? So we have the 10 of Swords, and we have the World. Ooh. All right, so that's interesting because we have like 10 and then 21, which is like the month, like when this video is going to be uploaded, it's October 2021, and then we have like 10 and 21. So maybe if you're watching this in October, like this very month is significant for you. This could also be talking about the time frame of 10 months to a year being significant. So interestingly here, we have two cards that carry the meaning of endings and completion. This is kind of a tough ending, but this is a very fulfilling ending. When it comes to the World, if we're reading about a connection, I do think of this as a connection reaching its final form. The World can talk about reciprocated feelings and fulfillment in a connection. And I think of it as like within the partnership, you're exploring the world together, like quite literally, you're traveling the world, you're accomplishing all of your goals, you're creating abundance together. There was a similar energy in the previous group where I do associate this card with like being a power couple or being like couple goals, because the world can talk about people watching you and people admiring you. With the world, I see something aspirational about your connection. Like people seeing you together and being like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. I want to find something like this, or I want to be somebody like those people are. So there's definitely potential for this to be brought to its full fruition, the way that you've already felt it in your spirit. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about this Ten of Swords a little bit. As you guys might know, the image on this card is usually somebody who's like lying on the ground with the swords in their back, almost like a death of sorts. There's a dark sky, and then there's just like the sun rising on the horizon. I feel like in the context of this reading, this could be talking about a dark night of the soul or another painful wave of awakening that one or both of you is gonna go through before reaching like your full union together. And sometimes when I'm reading, I do get the feeling of like, oh, if this has already happened to you, like don't worry, it won't happen again. But when it comes to dark nights of the soul and when it comes to awakening, it really does come in waves, and we really do go through it many, many times. Like awakening is not just like I go from asleep to awake and that's it. It's like I have a painful wave and I have growing pains, and then I have another uncomfortable transition, and then I awaken more, and then I go through another dark night. It kind of goes in cycles like this. So I'm not so confident to say, like, if you're watching this and you've already been through a dark night of the soul, I don't know if that necessarily means that you are exempt, I should say, from going through another one. It could very well be the energy of the other person. Like maybe this other person is about to go through another dark night. I do think that you guys are going to come out victoriously with the world here. And there was another pile like this where I was like, I'm so happy for the order that these came out, because if it was the other way around and we're ending on the Ten of Swords, I'd be like, oh shit. But it looks like you're going through a tough cycle. That cycle is ending, and then you're reaching what you want to reach within this connection. Now, there can also be an interpretation of the Ten of Swords. I sometimes think of this as overthinking way too much, to the point of like draining yourself, wearing yourself down, just totally mentally exhausting yourself. And swords do represent thoughts. And so when I see that image that we often see on the Ten of Swords of this person lying on the ground with all the swords in their back, I think of this as like they defeated themselves, or they exhausted themselves with their own thoughts, or with paying too much mind to other people's thoughts and words. But what this might be trying to convey here is that this can work out, but if you want this to work out, somebody needs to get over their overthinking ways. Somebody needs to get over their overthinking ways. There may be some anxious tendencies that somebody needs to recover from. Somebody may need to do a deep dive and really get to the root of their anxiety and how they can heal that. And I say somebody because I don't know if this is you or the other person or both of you. I'm not saying it to be like, oh, somebody has work to do. You know what I mean? It's not like that. I'm actually saying somebody because I don't know which one of you it is. But this is something that you don't want to bring into the relationship. If you have like nervous or anxious or overthinking tendencies and tend to get in your head a lot and tend to doubt a lot, that might be something that could hinder your relationship, or that could get in the way. And so maybe it's coming out like this because this is something that your higher selves want you guys to kind of work through separately before you come together in your full union. The Ten of Swords, I've also heard it being described as like an ego death. So there may be some some ego-based fears or insecurities or beliefs that you guys are still holding on to that need to be put to rest and that need to be cleared away in order for you guys to come together with this person in the way that you really want to. And this is something that I feel like I often suggest to people just because I think it's a good exercise. I do it very often myself, but if you're the type to like, you know, daydream and visualize about this union that you want, picture like a day or a week or even a month in the life of you and this person in your perfect union. And, you know, think about what your habits are and the way you talk to each other and the way you talk to yourself and who's around you and what you spend your time on, what you worry about, what you don't worry about, like all of that stuff. Imagine that you're watching like a week in the life video of yourself and compare it to how you are now. You know, like if I look at my future, I see myself as this like unbothered queen who doesn't worry about material things, who doesn't worry about being productive to the point of neglecting her needs and her well-being. You know what I mean? Like I see myself as this thriving, healthy queen. And so I could, doing this exercise, look at myself now and see in what ways I'm not aligned with that, because I think the best way to bring about your desired reality is to become your desired self. And naturally you will just be a match to it. Naturally you will just bring it in. So if you find that this is you who is like holding on to parts of your ego that are not helpful, holding on to any doubts or insecurities when it comes to this connection, but also just in general, or tend to be very anxious, overthinking. If this is resonating with you, that might be something that you want to do. If this is the other person, of course, we cannot control what other people do and we cannot control how they work through their stuff. But because you have this beautiful convey here, spirit and convey, I do think that your higher selves, like I said, they're always together, they're always talking. Both your and their guides are always so happy to pass along any message that you want to be passed along. Like if there's any message that you want to get across to this person, and like you're not in contact or something, their spirit guides will be like, what do you need? We'll go and send them like 8 million angel numbers, don't you worry. Or like even your higher self can do that. So you can always, you know, set the intention for them to heal and set the intention for them to work through the things that they need to work through. And I'm sure that you could pull some strings and you know, have that message come to them in a dream or have many signs appear to them in their waking life. You're never completely apart or you're never completely out of touch, but yes, there is some cycle that needs to end first. There is some dark night that needs to be emerged from. But there is potential, and I love that we have the world because it is the last major arcana. It is something's final form. It is something that has reached its full potential. So this is like a confirmation that yes, you can have it all with this person. You can experience everything that your souls set out to experience together in this lifetime. You can reach your full potential. And I think your mind is really the only thing that could get in the way. I think I told this story before, and maybe it was in a reading that I filmed recently, so let me know if you chose that reading too. But I was talking about this one time when I got a personal reading, and I asked the reader if I was going to be able to achieve something that I wanted to achieve, and she said, yes, you can, but you need to learn how to balance your emotions, because if you don't do that, then every little change that happens is going to be like such a big deal to you. Like every little good thing that happens, you're going to be over the moon. Every little, you know, disappointing or unexpected thing that happens, you're going to crash and think it's the end of the world. And fluctuating in such a volatile way like that, it's just setting yourself up for mental exhaustion. So there may be a need to balance your emotions when it comes to this connection and not take like every little shift in energy as such a big deal. If you guys are the type to like check in on this connection like every day or like every week, that might be too much. Like you might want to just check in on this connection once a month, if that. Like and look at things more long term. Like, this is not something you want to be like draining yourself with or constantly preoccupying yourself with. I don't think that that's beneficial for either of you, but mostly for you. So, okay, let's take a look now and see what will happen if you choose to move on from this connection. So we have the Empress. There is Taurus and Libra energy coming through here in case that is significant. It could be your placements or their placements, but it certainly doesn't have to be. Or Taurus and Libra season just might be significant in some way. But the Empress is also ruled by Venus, like with Taurus and Libra being ruled by Venus. And then we had the Andromeda beauty here. Venus is all about love and beauty. And then we have the Nine of Wands. Okay, so something I just really like about these readings in general is that pretty much in every pile, there's been reassurance that you're gonna end up happy either way. Like, you're gonna do amazing either way. And I really, really love to see that. Like, there hasn't been any pile that's like, you must go this way or that way or else you're doomed and you're not gonna be happy. So just know you're going to be happy either way. I love that you have like the major arcana number 21 here and you have the major arcana number 3 here, because 21 like reduces to 3, and these major arcana are associated with abundance and expansion and success and accomplishments, you know, being ruled by that number 3. So you're going to go on to do amazing things no matter what. You are going to create beauty. You're going to keep creating beauty like you already do. So the Empress is about unconditional love. So I do think that you're going to always love this person and they're always going to love you. Whether you guys end up together or not, whether you stay in contact or not, I think that you will never leave each other's heart. Like, you never could. You are just inherently in each other's heart. And I think you'll never forget about each other. The way this Empress is holding a skull, the skull is making me think of death. Like the Death card in tarot, which is about like a cycle that has ended, or just, you know, even literally something that has died. And the way she's holding on to it is like she's not letting go of it even though it's over. So I don't know, for this group, I don't know if there really is moving on. I don't know if moving on is an option, at least not spiritually or emotionally. You can move on physically, you can move on in the 3D, but I don't think you'll ever let go of this skull. I don't think you'll ever truly move on from this person. And that's honestly really sweet. Like, you'll always be in each other's hearts no matter what. I think your spiritual connection will continue on. You'll keep visiting each other's dreams. You'll keep sending each other signs. Your guides are gonna stay in touch. Yeah, I don't know if there's any like full moving on for this pile, honestly. If you are watching this and you really, really want to move on, like if you're somebody who really does want to move on, you may be able to do some kind of cord cutting to achieve this. But I have a feeling that most of you who chose this group maybe are happy to hear that you could never fully be separated from this person. And again, your love is unconditional, and that includes like, whether we end up together or not, the love is still going to be there. Whether we separate for 30 lifetimes and are in different galaxies, like, our love still goes on. I want to talk about the Nine of Wands now, which is kind of interesting because this is a card that makes me think of like the phrase hang in there. It has the feeling of like, you're not quite done yet, but this hard time is almost over, so just hang in there. Like something almost being finished. The number 9 also talks about near completion. And it's interesting because there may be this feeling of unfinished business, even if you do choose to move on from this person. Obviously, their energy is still with you very, very strongly. And so you may be left with a lot of like, what ifs? Like, what if I just hung in there for a little bit longer? And there will be a feeling of like, because you wouldn't have reached, I guess, experience everything you could or reach your final form. And I feel like your soul will be longing to finish that business, to finish that story. I'm thinking of it's in Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reid. It's a card called Unfinished Symphony. And I feel like that's kind of how it's going to feel. Like you didn't create all the beauty. You didn't convey everything. You didn't finish your spirit's plot and everything like this. And there's also a feeling, like I said, because this is like a hang in there, you're almost there. I feel like at this point, like when you're watching this reading, you're so close anyway. Like you're so close to your union anyway. Like if you're to move on now, it's a little bit like dropping out of university in like the last semester of your last year. It's like, but you were almost graduated. It kind of has this sort of feeling. So that's another meaning I'm taking from this card. And then the Nine of Wands is also about being guarded, you know? And I know that there's a deep level of intimacy here, or there's deep potential for a lot of intimacy here. And I just wonder, like, if you move on, it might be hard to let somebody in the same way, or like feel comfortable opening up and exposing all of yourself in the same way. If you guys have been physically intimate with this person, I'm not sure if other people can like live up to them, and I'm not sure if other people can live up to you, because when you're together in that way, it like goes beyond the physical sensations, you know, like it's literally a spiritual experience. So I think it would be difficult to find something similar out there, if I'm being truthful. But let's take a look at this final card, because this is going to be the card to give you advice on how to navigate this decision. And the card that we have is the Seven of Pentacles. And this is a card about patience. Yep, this is a card about patience. This is a card about seeds being planted, like seeds being well planted. And speaking of seeds planted and the Empress here and creating beauty, maybe this person wants to have a family and have children with you. I was just thinking of like planting their seed in you, or like, or maybe they want you to plant your seed or something like that. But 7 is also a highly spiritual number, and maybe you guys have heard me say this recently, but it has been coming to me quite often recently as like having the meaning of perfection. And so combining all of that with the meaning of being patient, this is definitely one of those like trust in the divine timing kind of messages. We had that message of like, you're almost there. There's almost this like, don't give up just yet. Like you've come so far. You've come farther than you know, because you may just be, you know, experiencing this connection from this lifetime. But over the course of lifetimes, you guys have come so far. And maybe it's tough. Like if you guys are going through a dark night of the soul, or you're dealing with this Ten of Swords energy, like it can be hard to be patient when you're going through something uncomfortable. Like if you've ever been on a treadmill, you will know what I'm talking about. You're like, has it really only been 10 seconds? Are you kidding me? So maybe it's hard to hear that message of be patient and trust in divine timing right now, but like you have the rest of your life to live out regardless. And you know, I'm thinking of when I hated university and I was only in second year. I don't know why I'm using all of these university analogies, but I was in second year and I really wanted to stop because I hated it. And my mom was like, oh, come on, it's only another 2 years. And I was like, 2 years? Like, that's so long. I have to go through 2 years of this shit. And she was like, I know it sounds like a long time right now, but in the grand scheme of things, like, it won't feel like that long. So I went through the other 2 years. I did not like it, but she was right. Like, at the end of the day, looking back, I'm like, yeah, what's another 2 years? And when you're with this person, you'll be grateful that you went through the Ten of Swords, that you went through the tough time, and it will seem like nothing. It will seem like a drop in the ocean. which, by the way, you should listen to. It's Drop in the Ocean, and the singer is Omi. It's the same person who sings the cheerleader song. It's like, ooh, we were meant to be. Darling, can't you see that I'm your whole wide world and he's a drop in the ocean? But in this case, he is your dark night of the soul. Your dark night of the soul is a drop in the ocean. It's really sweet. It's very like cheerful and uplifting. And anyway, yeah, this is just about patience and trusting in the divine timing. Again, I want you to know that you'll find happiness either way, but if this is something that you really want, it's almost like it doesn't make sense to quit now. It's like quitting a marathon when you have like 50 meters left, or you know what I mean? Like, that's how your guides are showing it to me. So it's like you've come this far already. Like, we're all rooting for you. Yeah. Okay, so these are all the messages that I have for you guys, so I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick a cards where you get to choose a topic, that will be linked down below too. I'm sending you guys lots of love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!